You are listening to The Radiator, and now begins Rocket Shop Radio Hour. I'm your host, Abby BK, and with us tonight we have the Champlain Shoregasm.
Hello.
Rory and Maya.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
We're good.
Long time no see. You've been everywhere, I feel, around town.
We have. We're Despositos. We have a residency, I think, at Despositos at this point. But
Totally.
yeah, we're going to be around the state this summer for sure. So
Awesome. But
Yeah.
your first time here in the Big Happy World space, at least the new space. So welcome in.
Thanks.
We're happy
Thank
to have
you.
you.
we're happy to be here.
And we usually like to kick it off with a song. So what have you got for us first?
We're going to kick it off with a song that Rory wrote. That's our little fuck you to Ron DeSantis down in Florida. The story behind this is they have a bathroom bill called the Public Safety in Private Spaces, which is essentially a trans bathroom bill. So this song is about that.
All right.
It's called Trans Aliens. Ready?
No, probably. Yep.
Ooh, shh. Demons, imps, and mutants are not part of this world. Lord rebuke you, Satan, righteous indignation stirred. Quote the Honorable Barnaby on Tallahassee Hill. He sponsored legislation and DeSantis signed the bill. Public safety and private spaces, who you talking about? Straight folk or us others, cause your language leaves no doubt. Well, you think we're weirdos, come from Jupiter and Mars. Zombies risen from the grave, 6 arms and heads in jars. Well, oh yeah? You think we're trans aliens? That's what you say in FLA. You think we're trans aliens? You wish that we'd go away. You wish that we'd go away. Let me school you gators, cause you're brainwashed to believe anyone whose gender's different must be crazy. But it's you who's lost any shred of sanity. You've been in the sun too long and you cooked your lizard brains. If you think we're trans aliens, that's what you say in FLA. You think we're trans aliens? You wish that we'd go away. You wish that we'd go away. Now we're all criminals looking for a place to be, just trying to do our business with some privacy. Well, we ain't so different, you can't choose love over hate. But we're not feeling welcome in the Sunshine State anymore. You think we're trans aliens? That's what you say in FLA. You think we're trans aliens? You wish that we'd go away. You think we're trans aliens? That's what you say in FLA. You think we're trans aliens? Yeah, well, piss off crackers, cause we're here to stay.
Yo, Mickey, that was pretty good.
Oh, fuck this state, Goofy. Let's move up to Vermont, follow the Champlain Shoregasm.
The Champlain Shoregasm, Trans
Yes.
Aliens, the classic. So tell us a little bit more about the origins of your band. I feel like I don't actually know the whole backstory.
Well, so the name of the band, I started as a busker with ukulele, and I belong to a Burlington ukulele group, which still meets, not in Burlington, I think they're up in the islands somewhere.
Okay.
And I had befriended a girl, one of the girls that played there, and we would hang out and practice and stuff like that and just kind of have a good time. And one summer we were down at the waterfront, and we were just kind of doing a thing. We were playing wagon wheel, and this guy from UVM walked by, and he's like, "Can I record you?" Like, yeah, sure. So we did wagon wheel. He recorded us, and then he asked us like, "Oh, do you have a band name if I post this?" And I looked at Carolyn. Carolyn looked at me, and she blurted out the Champlain Shoregasm. I'm like, "Oh, that's brilliant." So it was her. Can't take credit for coming up with the name. It was really her, but that's where the name comes from. And then I've known Rory now for I'm terrible with time. How long have we known each other?
We've known each other for 10 years.
For 10 years.
But been playing for 6.
6, right. And she, at first, when I was busking on Church Street, she would sometimes come sit with me. And she once said, like, "I'll sit here and watch you play, but I'll never, ever participate with you." And now here she is. And she's I come from 80s folk rock, 80s punk rock, right? And alternative music. She comes from 60s folk, but now she's quite the little punk rocker herself. And I find I come and she starts talking about these playlists that she's listening to. But so we've been playing together now as Champlain Shoregasm. This is our, what is it, 6th year, 7th year? 6th. Mostly as buskers, but we just really started branching out this year and doing actual gigs.
Yeah, totally.
So we're pretty excited.
And killing it.
Yeah, thanks.
So what made you decide that you wanted to take the leap and join, even though you said you weren't quite sure about it initially?
Well, finding someone that wanted to share the experience of playing music with me. My first guitar was in 1962 at the age of 12. And I've since gifted it to Maya. That's what she learned on. And then I got married, and this was my wedding present. This is a 69 Guild 12. And my wife just never enjoyed me making noise in her mind. And I thought, boy, this sucks. I got a beautiful instrument. And basically sat idle for decades. And then, got inspired. And it's just blossomed from there. I mean, we're writing our own music, and Maya is such a great arranger. She can take a cover and really make it our own. So I just decided, heck, life's too short, right?
Totally. And take us through what that writing process is. So obviously you're a duo and you both contribute. But when you're writing originals, how does that kind of come about? Is there one person who kind of takes the lead? Is it more of a balanced kind of teamwork?
I write most of the music. Mm-hmm. And it's a painfully slow process for me. Just because I will get an idea and I'll start working on, like, I'll have I'll wake up literally and I'm like, oh my God, I got this idea for a song, and I start writing, and then I stop and I won't pick it up again for like another year or two, so, and then I might go back to it, I might not, so like something like we'll play As the World Comes Apart at one point, that took me almost 2 years to finish just because I couldn't figure it out, right? So it's like, and I'm an inexperienced songwriter, so for me it's this laborious process where, like, okay, what I do like is kind of playing with words and like changing up phrases to create different meanings. And then Rory, when we first started busking, she actually wrote quite a few folk songs that we would perform, but she can talk to you about her process.
They really don't fit into a punk scene. And the response busking down on the waterfront was mediocre, but they're still favorites of mine, The first one actually is called Singing Right Beside Me, and it was for my partner here because it basically documents that invitation to join her. I typically start with the melody. I let the guitar tell me. And I've debated this with many people. I even brought the question up at the Venetian's open mic one night. I said, do you start with the melody or the lyrics? And I mean, everybody has their own process. Transalien was watching the news or a YouTube video and actually seeing a live broadcast of a Mr. Barnaby in Florida who sponsored the Public Safety and Private Spaces
A stand-up guy.
bill, and he literally on camera said, "Demons, imps, and mutants, you're not part of this world. Lord forsake you." My indignation stirred, and I said, "He's talking about me." And so I got angry. And so then I just had to find something fast and raw to speak back. He eventually retracted his statement, but, it's not really.
Right.
And then we dragged DeSantis in because,
Why not?
well, I mean, it's the governor. He signed it into the law. So that first verse of that song is quoted from Mr. Barnaby. Yeah.
Well, and you asked us like, how do we work together? And that's a great example because she just, she would write these ballads, the 60s folk, which I was fine with. I mean, we've developed more as a folk punk band, but she said that she wanted to write something like I did, like quick, snappy, with, pacing. And then she had written this song and I didn't really know. And then we were looking at your songs and you started playing this for me like, oh my God, that's amazing. So for me, I'll like hear a song in my head, like the full song. And I told her, no, let's work on this, and then we started collaborating. Like we changed some of the lyrics around, we changed the pacing and the strum and stuff like that. And that's kind of the way we're starting to really learn to work together, on songs. And it's a great process. I mean, it's like,
I'm very glad of just getting something down and then letting her run with it because she literally sees the whole thing in her mind to begin with, and and she wants drums now, she wants bass. So okay,
because that's what I hear in my head. But the thing I love about playing with Rory is I'm a very organic player and I play very fast, and she's really good at following me. We do a cover of Creep, and it's very slow and it's very moody, and she knows I stop and start a line. She just knows where I'm going to do that. And I think, one of the things I love about music and what's part of the Champlain Shoregasm, not just for us, but for everybody that listens to music, is that kind of interconnectedness you could develop just sharing and listening to music with other people, and we've developed that, to the point where I don't even need to give her a signal anymore. She just knows where I'm going, and we try and share that with other people through our music.
I've tried to do the open mic solo, and I don't enjoy it. It's not because I'm scared or anything. I need a good voice singing. Maybe, I don't know.
Because you've got something special. There you go.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine doing music alone again. I just don't want to. I just don't. It's just so much fun with another person or people, like the jams that we do. That's been happening. We go to the open mic at Desposito's on Mondays, and we started doing jams, and I love that. And I was always terrified of jamming, but now I get it. It's building that thing in the center of the room that's more than the sum of its parts.
Totally.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And in terms of writing, like how often do you feel like new ideas are coming to you? Like all the time?
Concepts, that's kind of what I start with, is a concept, right? So those will come to me all the time. Yeah. But I'm not practiced. Like I don't, I have to learn to sit down and write, every day. I don't do that. It's hard for me, but I have ideas all the time, and then I might write one down, and usually it really is. It's kind of like that. It sounds cliche, but that's a bolt of lightning. I wake up and I was dreaming about something, or like I woke up and I just had this on my mind and I had to write it down. That's like how it comes to me, so I might have a concept, but it just doesn't gel like that. Right. Whereas with As the World Comes Apart, I had this concept and it just all of a sudden gelled, and I had to get it down, and I wrote, I think, the first 2 or 3 verses of it, and then later I finished it. And another thing for me, sorry, is I'm a self-taught musician. She knows, she'll go, oh, it's the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th, and I'll be like, huh? Like, I just really don't know that stuff. So when I'm writing a song, I kind of just don't understand where to go. I do by ear, and it's something we're working on because it's sometimes hard for me to communicate with her what I want, what I'm hearing in my head, because I just don't know, so I need a little formalized training, and it's been good because she shares things with me and I pick up a little bit here and there.
Totally. Yeah, you both can help each other out and contribute in your own unique ways. I love it.
Yeah.
So, we'd love to hear another song. So what do you have for us?
We're going to do a song called Queen Bee. I love rockabilly, and I was brought up on all kinds of music, but loved rockabilly and, Elvis. And so this is kind of, I guess, a pure more like a rock song than a punk song. But yeah, so it's called Queen Bee.
All right.
Funny, cause I'm making lots of money, meeting all kinds of people, but all I want, honey, is to kiss you. Cause your lips were made for me, baby. Now I have looked around the country, but you're my favorite, yummy, make me happy in my tummy like a chocolate Easter bunny, wanna kiss you. Cause your lips were made for me, yeah. And like honey for a queen bee, sonny, oh, my lips, they were made for you. I could go around the world, meet dukes and queens and earls, I could stay in fancy palaces, eat expensive salad, but I miss you. Cause your heart was made for me, baby. I could hit the jeans, I could run double deckers, I could meet Amanda Palmer, play a sandwich and strummer, but I'd miss you. Cause your heart was made for me, baby. And like honey for a queen bee, sonny, oh, my heart, it was made for you. Buzz a while, Rory. For a queen bee, sonny, oh, my heart, it was made for you. I would hang with billionaires, I would ride in fancy rockets, I would visit lunar bases and fancy Martian spaces just to hold you. Cause your arms were made for me, baby. And like honey for a queen bee, sonny, oh, my arms, they were certainly made for you. One more time around the high. For a queen bee, sonny, oh, we were made for each other, baby. Oh!
Queen Bee, the Champlain Shoregasm. So to make all of this come together, how often are you two rehearsing together?
A lot.
Yeah, like how frequently, like how many times a week would you say?
Well, we get together and play a couple times a week.
Okay.
I mean, since we've started doing gigs, we
you
practice
have to.
Pretty regularly. Yeah. I mean,
we're both retired.
Yeah. This is what I do.
Right.
And it's, but I just think it's like, one, we learn more about each other the more we practice, and two, it's just like, it just helps me build confidence.
Mm-hmm.
We've done these songs now probably hundreds of times, but I get nervous every time I perform. every time, and it's like, so if we've practiced, like we practiced before we came here, like
Right.
I'm already warmed up, I already know what I'm going to do, I'm already in the groove, so it's like, it helps with that nervousness.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like that's something that so many people go through, and I feel like nerves
Oh,
are
yeah.
a good thing. Like they say,
Sure, yeah.
you only get nervous because you care. So
Yeah, exactly.
if
You care
don't get
about
nervous-
care about us doing the music and care
Right.
about people like enjoying it, and yes, there's a little bit, because I'm a performer and, I am sort of like an exhibitionist, like I do worry about how people perceive me. I wish I didn't care as much as I did, but I do. I have to cop to that. So that's
Yeah.
part of the practice too. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just my personality,
being human, honestly, I feel like everyone
Yeah.
goes through that in some
Yeah.
way
Well, and it's,
or time.
growing up in school, I was kind of like an outcast amongst outcasts. So I wasn't seen a lot, so I guess I developed this desire to be seen, so it's like when I started performing, my first punk band was a band called Field Rat when I was a junior in high school, and once I got behind the microphone, I was nervous, but I was like, oh, wow, like people are watching me. We never played out, but we had kids from the neighborhood that would watch our practices. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So for me, it was like a way for me to shout and be seen.
Yeah.
When we first started putting equipment together to busk, and had to look far and wide because everything had to be DC powered because there's no place to plug in down at the waterfront.
Right.
And we got to the microphones, and we just went down to our luthier friend, and he had to dust them off, some old gold colored microphones, or he had some black ones. And my ear says, oh, we got to have the gold ones. I can't sing unless it's through a gold one.
I wasn't there when you bought them.
I love that though.
No, I wasn't there when I bought them, but she like showed me, and I'm like, oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I used to perform, like I was in theater in high school, right? And and I hated singing, but my drama teacher always made me sing, like, so like that gold microphone like became like my shield. But it's like, it's kind of like, I read about Blondie, Deborah Harry, and one of the things that I never knew about her that she says is that the character of Blondie is somebody she built. It's not who she is, right? Like, so when I started stepping behind that gold microphone, I became something else.
Yeah.
I became not a rock star, but like, I want to be this way and I want to be that way, so it's a little bit of a character.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like I like being genuine, but it does give me like a certain shield and develop like, oh, this is who I am when I'm behind the microphone.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like that might make it easier sometimes, maybe to be.
It does,
Obviously,
like
like, the
having
center
that
of attention.
barrier between you
Yeah.
and the audience, and I want to work with that. Like, there's an open mic up in Essex where it's just, there's no mics, no nothing. You're just there.
Oh,
And
wow.
I did that in the beginning with busking, but
Yeah.
it was hard for me, to not have a barrier,
Totally.
just to be vulnerable.
Yeah, so interesting. And so obviously on top of, all of the busking that you may do and the gigging, you also are running Lily's Pad.
Woo!
So tell us
Shout
a
out
little
to the
bit more
pad.
about Lily's Pad and the origins of how you got that started and why you did, and let the people know.
Well, I'll do the formal finding the location. I was renting an apartment in the New North End for 4 years. I moved in January of 20, and then, of course, 6 weeks later, right? And 3.5 years in, the landlord came and sent out a notice and said that we're going to turn these apartments into condos. You either buy or you leave. And I thought, boy, that sucks. It wasn't where I wanted to be, and yet the price of houses was out of market almost. And but it was Valentine's Day of 2023. I had just taken Maya home from practicing at the apartment, and we always had to, observe the 10 o'clock quiet hour. And I saw this for sale sign on this house on the corner with Westward Drive and North Avenue, 1999 North Avenue. And I'd been walking that block for 4 years, and I said, I got to look into this. And so I called real estate agent that I had already established an association with. This was in March of 2023. And we went over the next day, and he says, if you want it, you got to move quick. And I knew immediately when I walked into it was 1952 era, and it just had, I'm not going to say smell, it just had a feeling to it that the fragrance in the environment was such that it drew me in. It, obviously triggers something from behind, And so I asked, I said, well, I'd like my partner to see it first. As soon as we went down in the basement, she says, oh, I know what we're doing down here. And I'll let her pick it up from there. I ended up buying the house and been there now for a year and a few months.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of Lily's Pad, I mean, it was, so I'd done, some people may remember this, but there was a women's music collective in Burlington briefly called the Tuned In Gathering. And one of the things they were trying to do is, work with club owners and venue owners to make, not only get more women in to perform, but also to kind of promote safe spaces for women, to perform, and including trans women. So one of the things they did was house shows. So we would gather as like a little open mic just in somebody's basement, and have tea and, so when I saw her basement, one gym's basement had just closed down. So we were kind of starting to feel, that, everybody was feeling like, and then when I saw the basement, like, oh, I want to do house shows here. I want to do some sort of open mic like the Tuned In Gathering did, highlighting, everybody comes, but I really wanted to be highlighting female and queer performers. So we, over the course of a couple of months.
Oh, it was really just a couple of weeks. It was
couple of weeks.
into the beginning of November, and we had our first open house, open mic December 6th of 2023.
Yep.
And
so it's a cool space. I mean, and it's like, so we're pretty far into it. We've got a regular following that comes along with newer people. We just did our first outdoor one, which is awesome. We got about 25 people, including musicians and neighbors, to come, which is really what we're looking to do, is build community.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, normally we offer tea and snacks, and you just come and lounge on the couch, listen to the performers. It's really cool.
Lucky enough, after I moved in March, around July, my real estate agent was flipping a house just around the corner. And he said, hey, do you need any more furniture? And I said, well, let me see what you...
fact.
And so the people had just left a couple of drop leaf tables, a settee, and so I took my over again, of course, and she said, oh, I know where this is going. I know where that's going. Yes, we need this. We don't need that. And she does, I said, well, how do you want to do this? You want to do this? You want to do that? She says, Renee, I will take care of it.
That's another thing about me too. Like when I'm writing songs and like I'm arranging things or even doing Lily's Pad, I can be a battle axe because I see it in my head and I need it that way. So it's like,
and I trust her that much. I just said, have at it. We will have a budget, but
blew that a couple of times.
hopefully the fire department won't shut us down.
Right.
But it's been awesome, and it's so it's first and third Wednesdays from what are we doing now? 7 to 10 p.m. Last half hour is like a jam that we do, and if folks want to come, just check out lilyspadvt.com, and we've got all the info there, or find us on Facebook. But I'm super happy with it.
Totally.
And the growth it's seen.
Yeah. And what are your future kind of goals for growth? I mean, you mentioned making it more of a community space, but anything else?
Yeah, I mean, we know a young woman by the name of Skunk who organizes things at the Ombudsman. I'd love to do some cross promotion with her, even maybe do some fundraiser type stuff. I want to do like community gaming nights. We did one movie night. So I want to do offer free movie nights, all music based movies. That we kind of I started doing that, and then I looked at our schedule for the Shoregasm, maybe not right now. So we'll probably fit that in where we can, but just offer events and space where people can just come and gather,
right.
Talk to each other, get to know each other, play some music if they're feeling inclined.
One side of the stairway is the listening area, and there's a stage that we built with some old pallets from my neighbor, and we, planked it over.
It's pretty slick. It's nice space.
You can see all the pictures online. But anyway, there's a lot of comfortable chairs and couch and whatnot to sit on. And then on the other side is more of a cafe. We have this tea bar, and we're substance free. And we have various tables set up with chairs around it, and we have a stack of board games and cards and whatever if anybody wants to. The coolest thing of all is the chimney. For some reason in the cellar was painted white, and it was pretty easy for Maya to see, let's get some colored markers, and every time someone visits, we'll get them to sign a brick, claim a brick. And so we just collected, I don't know, it's pretty
We've
amazing.
got about 40 signatures on there now, but the thing is, for me, that's like very like punk rock clubs. That's kind of what we did. It was just like scrawled shit on the wall, and it's like, and one day, of course, like we'll have to, Lily's Pad will close down, or we'll need to move it, or whatever is going to happen with it, and we'll take that chimney with us, and that will be our like,
Right.
that'll be like, we'll have like a museum like you guys have got here, and we'll be like, okay, here's the chimney.
Yeah, you can't
it's
leave
like,
it
here's the
behind.
chimney, like, or at least take the bricks with us,
Right. Yeah, totally. Well, we'd love to hear another song.
All right. Well, you asked me about my concepts and like how I develop like my songs. So here's one that speaks to that. So as the world comes apart, there's a legend, a story about, when the Titanic was sinking, there was a band on the Titanic, and everybody's going down, they're rushing around, they're trying to get in lifeboats, and there's this band playing in the Titanic, like, well, fuck it, we're going to die anyway. There's not enough lifeboats. It's women and children first. So let's just keep playing. So I'm like, how cool would it be if the world is ending and like there's fire and brimstone falling and the seas are flooding and earthquakes are happening, and here's the Champlain Shoregasm. We are the band that's playing the last song of the world. So this is As the World Comes Apart. It's also because at the time I wanted to learn REM's End of the World as We Know It. I couldn't sing it. It was too fast. So I'm like, I'm going to make my own version. So it's kind of a little of that too. Ready?
Yep.
While sitting on a park bench watching kids and dogs walk by, I just can't help but feel so lucky for the joy I found in my life. As the sun sets, I'll sit near to you, grateful for your hand. And as we play our final chords, I think I finally understand. It's not how long that my life will be that makes it small or grand. It's how I live that life and love the world that make it worth a damn. So as the world comes apart, I hope you'll join me in a song, 'cause the time we have is so short, and before you know too long, that our world will come apart and all our dreams and clever plans be as worthless as a castle built upon the shifting sands. And there were times when I thought that I just couldn't take the pain. Then I looked across the couch, you had this smile on your face. You said, don't worry, I am here with you to lend a helping hand. And should you falter on the road, I'll do my best to help you stand. So don't worry about the things to come, where your feet have been, because the only thing that matters is the moment that we're in. So as the world comes apart, I hope you'll join me in a song, 'cause the time we have is so short, and before you know too long, that our world will come apart and all our dreams and clever plans will be as worthless as a castle built upon the shifting sands. Take a breath now. Turned to you and said, this looks like just the perfect place to contemplate the end and watch the world burn. So we polished up the brass and we picked up our guitars. With a smile and a shrug, we headed back into the bar. Oh yes, we did, because if the whole thing should go down today, we've got one final chance to play the exit music for the film and make the boardwalk dance. So as the world comes apart, we hope you'll join us in a song, 'cause the time we have is so short, and before you know too long, that our world will come apart, and all our dreams and clever plans be as worthless as a castle built upon the shifting sands. Take a breath now.
The Champlain Shoregasm.
Okay, so a fun story about one of the lyrics there. So when we first started playing that song, we were learning to sing it, right? And Rory especially is like, we were running out of breath.
Yep.
So I was getting it. She wasn't quite sure where to take the breath. So I would turn to her and go, take a breath now. So, we kept it in the song. And, over time, it's like, we're so overwhelmed by stuff nowadays, right? Young people especially. I feel so bad for you guys. And it can be so overwhelming, but really what we need to do is just kind of take a breath. So it worked itself really neatly into the song. It's one of my favorite lyrics in the song, because I'm literally at that point taking a breath because I'm running out, so it's really funny.
Yeah, I love that. I wouldn't have known that would have been the origin story behind it, because it fits so well. But
yeah,
I feel
it was just really a thing
flair.
instruction I was giving her during practice, and I'm going to keep that in.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the first time we performed it was at the Venetian's open mic, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to leave it, and we played it, and I just went, let me do it. And people loved it. It was like, we got cheers during that. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Totally. So obviously you've been busy, as we said, gigging, doing open mics, really pushing yourself to put yourself out there. But in terms of recording and releasing music, is this something that's on the horizon for you? Have you thought about it? What are your goals with that?
It is. Well, we did live at Robot Dog Studio, Tim Lewis's show, Sounds of Burlington, and they recorded that. So we released that as a live EP. So that you can find on Spotify. That's really our first big release. So that it's on Spotify. We have Bandcamp too. In August, we're hopefully going to re-record some of those songs. I really want to get more instruments in there, like the drums and bass and things like that. So that will probably be sometime in August. We'll start recording. Hopefully we'll have that done soon, because it costs a lot. So really our gigging and our farmers markets, it's a way now for us to kind of support that and hopefully get to a point where we can do that, but we're hoping to do at least a couple of singles. I'd love to do a single of Transaliens and As the World Comes Apart, and then we have Flowers for Lorelai, which we'll do next for you, and our version of Creep as another single.
Which one gets the A side?
Transaliens.
All right.
Yeah, so
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's been the way that a lot of people are doing it now, is releasing singles rather than a whole project. But are you thinking about including these singles into a larger album as well?
We do have other songs that we're working on. They're not quite ready yet. So I think pretty soon we'll have an album's worth of stuff. So yes, it would be cool to do that. But I don't have a lot of money, so it's it's kind of we're doing on the paupers sort of schedule. But yeah, I like to do that initially. I like to do some music videos, especially for As the World Comes Apart and Transaliens. And really just kind of what I really want to focus on though right now is our music, because we're buskers, has been kind of schizophrenic. It's all over the place. So what we're trying to do, especially at our shows, is figure out, we've been actually at the Venetian, David Carl Roberts first said it, the best folk punk band this side of Lake Champlain, and we ran with that. And I love folk punk. I love the Violent Femmes and stuff. So we've been trying to develop that sound because we both really like it. And she comes from folk, I come from punk. It makes sense. So we're trying to kind of develop music that speaks to that. That's still, it's fun for us. I still like doing moody ones because I like shoegaze too. But that's kind of what we're working on. So when we get enough of those, and I think we will soon. You know?
So exciting.
Yeah,
well, I can't wait to see it all. And music videos for the two you played would be spectacular. I can
Oh, yeah,
totally see
yeah.
some really creative ideas coming from that.
Yeah, and I already have like an idea for As the World Comes Apart towards the ending. I want to make like the globe explode into confetti. Were you at the show at Despacito when I shot off the confetti cannon after that song?
Oh,
It was like the best thing ever.
I don't know if I was at that one, but
It was very cool.
I wish. Now I do.
It's very cool. And if anybody out there knows Tim Smith, Tim Lewis, I always say, sorry, Tim Lewis, who does Sounds of Burlington, he was right in the front of the audience and caught the brunt of the confetti cannon.
Oh
He had it in
gosh.
his beard and his hair and his drink. I felt so bad, but yeah, that's kind of well. That's why I say that video ending already
Yep.
is like huge explosion of confetti.
I love it.
You know.
All right. Well, we don't have too much time left, but at the very end of Rocket Shop, we always give our guests the opportunity to once again really promote yourself. So let people know where we can find your music, how we can best support you, all of your social media, website, all that jazz.
Sure. Yeah. Well, our website is just the ChamplainShoregasm.com. It's kind of your one-stop shop. You know, we have links to our Facebook and our Instagram and all of that, and our Bandcamp. Bandcamp, of course, you can go there and buy our music, which we really appreciate you doing that. And then we just started on Spotify, so we've got that Live at Robot Dog Studio EP up there. Do listen to that and stream it. We like it. I think our music is pretty good. I'm biased, I know, but the album is really cool. It was really fun to finally get into a studio setting and record those songs. You know, so definitely
This is
check
pretty
it out.
awesome too.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, I'm not putting, but that was the first time we had an experience like that. And it was really cool. You know, and then of course we have ton of merch on our site. That's the best way to support us and support bands, because we just, you know, and then come out and see our shows. We've got, so we're going to be around the state, farmers markets. You can find our complete schedule on the ChamplainShoregasm.com. But at Despacito, we've got a show coming up on 6/22. It's going to be really cool. So it's us, obviously. Lady from New Jersey called Your Best Nightmare. Very cool, feminist, punk rock. Awesome. She's actually finishing her tour with us. So we played with her a couple of months ago, and she's like, oh, I want to come back. And like, so she's going to end her tour here. And then we've got Marianne Toilette and the Runs, really fun band, and Lobotomobile. So that's going to be a crazy good show. So please come out to that one, support the bands,
And
especially the ones
guess
from
where
out of
they're all
town.
staying.
Yeah,
they're
at
in
Rory's
town.
house. We're going to have a sleepover. It's going to be awesome. And then on 7/5, we're going to be playing with Zach Wright and the Ultraviolets. We're going to be playing with Johnny Earthquake Band, Bathwater, which is Jesse Taylor's No Doubt cover band, which is pretty awesome. So that's going to be really cool too. And then we have some shows like we'll be playing at, you know, the Vermont Pub and Brewery and stuff like that. And we'll make more videos too. We've got a YouTube. We did a video for our version of Creep that's really cool. Check that out. You can find that on the website too. What am I missing?
Oh, I was just going to elaborate on that. We always, when we were just starting out, we would go over to Main Street Landing in one of the atriums because of all the stone and whatnot. The reverberation, the acoustics
in that
were
building.
great. And we went over there one evening, and it was, you know, there were meetings going on, and so we're walking out, and if you'd ever been into the Lake Street entry, there's an old bath escape or diving bell in the entryway there. And she says, oh, I got an idea. So we climbed in this bath escape. It's open for kids to play, like, believe 20,000 Leagues.
I don't know if you're supposed to go in it, to be honest with you. But I first saw it. Is at One Main in their basement, and it's been one of my favorite things about Burlington. We had a conversation about roadside attractions before the show started. That's like a roadside attraction thing for me. I loved it.
So we had 2 cell phones with us. One was used to record, and the other was to light up the space enough so you could tell where we were. Mm-hmm. And then Maya found some awesome footage online that she paid for the copyright to use, and just put an absolutely amazing video together of our version of Creep.
Right.
And,
So anyway, so yeah, check that out on YouTube. But yeah, if you want to support us, like I said, just go to the website. We've got all kinds of things there. Definitely would love for folks to come to our show. Since we're a new band, we'd love to build a fan base. Love to see you all there. And especially at 6/22, we've got the folks coming from out of town. Let's give them a nice Vermont welcome, because I think that they're great people. They're great bands. So
Totally.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to hear your last song. So what have you got?
All right. So the last one we're going to do, I wrote this for Rory, actually. So Rory is short for Lorelai. And we're both trans and proud of it. And for me, one of the most special moments of my transition was after I changed my name, the first piece of mail that I got with that new name was just incredible. And I was with another partner back then, and we did celebrate it a little bit, but not much. So when that happened with Rory, I was like, I want her to mark the occasion. So I went out, I bought her a card, I bought her some flowers, and I probably made you a cake. I don't know if I made you a cake, but we did something special.
Oh, you went cheap. You bought a couple of cupcakes.
But they were good they're Crin's cupcakes. So we marked that moment, and then a little bit while later, I actually made a shadow box for her with the flowers in it. So she still
said,
has
hang
them.
on to them, dry them in your closet, and I'll come back in the winter, and we'll make a shadow box. And so that hangs proudly in my living room.
Yep.
And
so Flowers for Lorelai
I love her for it.
Is about that experience, but it's really about a song about anybody that really has tried to be their authentic self and they just face great adversity. It doesn't matter if you're part of the queer community, you're trans, you're cis, whatever, we all go through this. So it kind of speaks to that, and watching somebody go through that process and appreciating it.
Lorelai, the world is waiting for you now. I know that you've been waiting for it too. Lorelai, Lorelai. Lorelai, I bought these flowers for you. I hope you know that I am proud of you. Lorelai, Lorelai. Lorelai, I hope that you can see you're twice the woman they said you'd never be. Lorelai, Lorelai. So Lorelai, I bought these flowers for you. I hope that you are proud of you too.
Flowers listeners, for Lorelai, the Champlain Shoregasm. That one's, I have to say, I think that one's my favorite.
Aw, thanks.
I now know some of your repertoire from coming to the gigs with you. So, but thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us. It was great. It was fun.
And keep us up to date with all of the amazing progress that you're making.
We definitely will.
And listeners, thanks for listening to Rocket Shop Radio Hour. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have The Squandered Minds. I'm your host, Abby BK. This has been Rocket Shop Radio Hour on The Radiator, and we hope you have a wonderful day or night. All right, we'll see you next time.
I was literally singing around my cough that last song.